Republicans in the House of Representatives, according to a new report, are in a bit of a panic right now because they have, for some reason, only now realized that the horrible cuts to social safety net programs, the cuts they're making to the Affordable Care Act that could strip 14 million people of their health care, those are going to go into effect before next year's midterms. But apparently the genius Republicans running the House of Representatives didn't know that. So when they passed the historically unpopular One Big Beautiful Bill Act with all of these cuts that the public, including Republicans, overwhelmingly hate, these dumbasses did not know that the cuts were going to happen within a year and a half. I have no words for this level of stupidity. I've always said these people are not smart, and I will continue to say that, but this is shocking. This leaves me speechless almost with this level of stupidity of them not knowing that the horrible thing they did is going to take effect before next year's midterms. Maybe I'll come up with some words in just a minute, but first, a quick word from today's video sponsor. By now, you know Trump's big, beautiful bill has passed, but almost no one's reporting how ICE will get nearly $40 billion of our tax money each year, making it the most heavily funded law enforcement agency in U.S. history. That's more money than most nations spend on their entire military. So much of our media is either missing the worst of this bill or twisting the language so you think it's all in your best interest. But we've seen the ICE raids ramping up. Now Trump's openly threatening to deport U.S. citizens. This should be the biggest story in America, yet it's buried. Making ground news essential right now is what all of this is doing. They're the only tool I've found exposing these blind spots in the media. By gathering the world's news in one place, organizing it by story, then analyzing just how far-right and radical each unbiased source actually is, you get way more context than you ever would anywhere else. If we're being honest, we've seen Trump's power grabs throughout history. They said never again, and that means never again everywhere. And right now, it's happening here. So if you want to stay ahead on immigration, the economy, or simply finding the stories missing from your news feeds, Ground News has you covered. Their app and website is a smarter, more reliable way to stay informed at a time when MAGA is banking on us to stay distracted. So I've partnered with them to get you 40% off the same Vantage plan that I have been using. That comes out to $5 a month for unlimited access to everything I've mentioned and so much more. Just go to ground.news/Farron or scan the QR code to subscribe. With at least another 4 years of this, we can't afford to miss these details. Let me read you what Politico is reporting about these morons in Congress who didn't know all the horrible things we did were going to come back to bite us. Let me read you this. GOP lawmakers have been hoping that the cuts in medical services and rise in rates for those taking advantage of the Affordable Care Act would not take effect until after the election, but that is looking less likely, putting conservative lawmakers ill at ease about what is already expected to be a tough road ahead. Republicans are now facing an immediate firestorm. A full year before anyone casts their vote in November 2026, meaning now in the fall of 2025, the American healthcare system will begin transitioning from an era of unprecedented expansion of coverage to an era of unprecedented cutbacks. And President Donald Trump and the GOP-controlled Congress will be easy to blame. So they wanted the cuts. They wanted all of you poor people kicked off your health care. They wanted these rural medical centers that are mostly funded by Medicaid to shut down. They wanted all of it. They just didn't want it to happen before November of 2026. Like, even halfway through next November would have been fine with them because they want it. They just don't want to have to pay the price for it. You know, we don't want our constituents to hate us because we screwed them. We'd rather screw them after they vote for us for another term. And then, 2 years later, after the cuts have gone into effect, they'll forget that we did it and keep voting for us again. That's what they hoped. These Republicans in Congress were hoping that their voters were dumber than they are. But unfortunately for these Republicans, time was not on their side. And yes, the healthcare industry has already announced, we know the cuts are coming, so we're going to go ahead and be proactive. We're going to start shutting things down. We're going to start shutting down treatment centers. We're going to start shutting down entire medical facilities in some areas. By the end of the year, this is what the healthcare industry has announced already. So Republicans can't run from this. They cannot hide from it. They cannot delay it. They did this, and they get to face the consequences with their voters next November. And I am still dumbfounded that they didn't realize this was going to happen. Thanks for watching, everyone. We're inching closer and closer to 1 million subscribers, and we're aiming to hit that goal before the year closes. So if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please do so, and don't forget to like, comment, and share. Thanks for joining us as we head towards this huge milestone.